Hi, I'm Tate Johnson, or Warsaw Builds on YouTube and Instagram, and this is my Jedi Fallen Order inspired mock, which is the planet Bogano. So the basic idea for this mock is it's a couple years after the game, and the Empire, they know about Bogano now, so why wouldn't they want to exploit it and colonize it? So this is the Imperial invasion on Bogano, and this was about a year build. I started it after last Brick Fair, and just been working on it off and on until I could display it now. This is the first time I've been able to have it all completed in once, and I'm really happy how it came out. Unfortunately, I will be disassembling it today, so this will be the last time you guys see it.
Well, I'm glad we're here to chat with you about it then.
Yeah, thank you for immortalizing it.
So this is a fantastic build here. Something that definitely catches your attention when you first walk up is kind of these large rock walls on the sides. So what were some of the pieces you used to make that?
So the main thing that really came in handy were these large slopes right here. They were really cheap on Bricklink, so I just ordered like a ton of them, and those really created the bulk of this. The hardest thing about the mock was just this design for the slopes, because that's so much of what Bogano is. So just playing around with different colors to make those like chalk walls and these like sediment stripes here. It was a lot of design process, and you have so many choices in Lego, and I'm really happy how it came out, and I have no regrets with the design.
Are those just kind of like big panels stuck on the sides, or what's that like internally there?
Yeah, so if you are standing from over there, you can see a rainbow mess from behind, like most Lego. So I made large panels and then used snot bricks on the side to hold them in place. So you can see that when they're at an angle, these tricky angles, they're not as strong. So I made sure to include ones that are lined up so they like balance in between them and are very sturdy. And luckily it survived the 10-hour drive from New Hampshire.
Very nice. And then this section over here, does this like represent water in this section, or?
So on Bogano, the plateaus are so deep, there's actually a layer of mist that settles. So this is kind of like the cloud line almost. So I did that by using white base plates and trans clear bricks to cover that up.
I love that kind of lone rock pillar in the middle there as well.
Thank you. That was the first thing I designed, and I think it came out great, but it was a lot of pain when I was playing around with the structure here. This collapsed and it knocked it off my table, so I've had to rebuild that guy quite a few times, but I think it paid off.
For a build like that that's kind of independent on its own, did you just build each of those slices kind of individually and then stick them all together?
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I did. I just kept making different rings and then testing it out and playing around with it a lot, and I'm really happy with how that came out. Probably should have done that one last because of how many times it got broken trying to like reach my hand in there, but yeah, so not too smart on my end, but I think it came out nicely.
We can move into more of the man-made sections now. What do these rooms have in them?
So I have two rooms here, like carved into the walls, kind of like Mesa Verde looking. I'm more of a nature builder. That's my favorite thing. So I wanted to challenge myself to do some interior. So in that one right there, it's like a hangar bay with a speeder. So I would just like to say everything in here is my own design except those speeders. The design is by Fukusaku on Instagram. That TIE Fighter's a Lego set, and this hover tank was a set, but Axodroid, I'm sure you guys know who he is, he lended me his hover tank to swap out. So I would just like to give all credit to the responsible owners. But back to your question, yeah, so that's a hangar and cargo bay right there, and then that leads into a strategy room connected by the two doors with the flashing red lights.
I love is that like kind of white pieces inlaid in the walls in the back kind of create that nice effect?
Yeah, so the best question I've ever been asked as a kid asked me where I got those stickers from. And I showed him how to build them using snot bricks. So that was really cool. And yeah, that's how I designed those. And I'm happy how they came out.
Is it difficult to incorporate those, obviously man-made kind of structures within the walls of the rock there, and you have to move your rock work around it?
Yeah, it was a little difficult, but it was also nice because I was really running out of slopes. So it saved me some bricks there. Another way I kind of tied it in more was I did some exposed wiring. Well, that kind of makes sense, like the Empire would need to generate power from somewhere. So I thought that was a cool design. I used like the fence pieces same as up here, to create those wires.
And as we make our way up, you've got this great ladder here with kind of like metal grating to get to the top.
Yeah, so anyone that played Jedi Fallen Order will remember all the ruins and ways to transport. So I have a couple of those scattered throughout the build. I have that ladder, and then I have this control panel and this bridge. And those are like the ruins from the past civilization, and those are directly inspired from the game. So while this mock was more just based off of the planet rather than the actual game, I did directly copy those from the game, so yeah.
And then up top, tell us kind of more of the story of what's happening here. Obviously, you've got like a landing pad area. What all's going on?
So the Empire, there's much more of an Imperial presence than in the game. It's been a couple years. So I actually made this entire top section 2 days before the convention. So poor time management on my part. It was a long night, but I couldn't be more happy with how it turned out, and I have no regrets. So over there is the landing pad, which I first designed. They need a way to get to this planet. So there's the TIE fighter there. Outside here, you can see that there's like a cargo section where they're loading crates. And there's also that elevator, which was originally designed in replace of that ladder on the second level, but it didn't fit, so I thought I could reuse it there for a scouting position. There's also this, I guess, kind of a driveway for the hover tank. So they loaded that up with supplies, and it's taking it off to another part of the map.
And then I love these more rugged sections here as well, with a mix of kind of the tan and the sand green, even some kind of like water mixed in.
Yeah, so nature building is my favorite thing to do, so this was really fun. Before I added all this much lighter color, it looked very dry and arid, but I'm so glad I did a very less attractive looking underpart because it made the plants pop so much more, and it really made it look very like wet and lush. So I'm happy how that came out, and I had some extra trans clear tiles from that part, so I thought it would be great to add them there. And I also made some caves. They're like naturally occurring circles that lead down into caves. So I decided to put an Easter egg. If anyone remembers from Jedi Fallen Order, I'm sure many of you have cried trying to beat this guy here, Ogdo Bogdo. So he's roaming down in the caves, and he is looking for his next victim. I think many of us were defeated by him. And I don't think you guys will be able to see it, but I know people are going to ask, where's Cal? Even though this doesn't take place during the same time, I have a Cal Kestis skeleton. It's okay if you can't reach around there. It's probably a bit difficult, but he got beat by Ogdo Bogdo, like many of us.
I love that. It's great to include kind of, references to other things in the game that people who have played it will recognize.
Yeah, I didn't have a ton of time to do Easter eggs, but I'm really happy to do that. I'd say only like 25% of people walking by here realize it's there, but when they do, they get really excited. Or if they play Jedi Fallen Order, they get really mad at me.
Now, do you have any idea how many pieces are in the whole build?
I have no idea. Yeah, I can't really give too much of an estimate there, sorry, but I just build.
No, that works. You've got some great minifigures in here as well, so take us through some of those, maybe point out some of the details, weapons, accessories, anything like that.
Yeah, so I wasn't much of a Star Wars collector when I was younger, but my friend gave me his collection from my sports team, so he just gave me a ton of these figures, and that helped out. Also at Brick Fair here, I bought some of these. So I made some like adjustments, like I would put backpacks on some of them and use the Lego like rubber pieces just to give them some more detail and bulk them up a bit. So that's what I did for all the figures here. And I think the white contrast of the armor goes really well against the landscape here, and they definitely stand out, which I think is cool.
What was set up like at the show for this? Because obviously it's a pretty tall build. You got all these different rock sections. How did that come together?
So transporting it, we just had it on a giant like wooden slab and built kind of a temporary cage around it. And once we got here, there wasn't too much room. So luckily everyone around us, my neighbors, have been super kind to move their mocks around and kind of condense them so we could fit. And luckily nothing fell. We were just able to slide it on. It was probably about 3 to 4 hours of repair. I had to rebuild that pillar again. So as you can, right there, there's an Easter egg that's non-Star Wars related. I made a movie theater to commemorate all my friends and people who have been super nice to help me out and give me building techniques. So we call them Boyo Lounges. So it's just a fun way to commemorate the build process and everyone who's helped me on the way. So I just wanted to do that for them.
Yeah, that's super fun. I love that because you've got these big kind of wall sections. It's great when people kind of put either text or little scenes in there.
Yeah, like I said, not everyone can see it, but it's worth it when just one person sees it and they get excited because they feel special that they found it. So it's always fun to see reactions, and everyone here at Brick Fair has been super kind and really supportive of my mock. So that just makes it so worth it to be working on these big projects for such a long time.
The lighting you added in really helps as well, especially in these rooms down here. It really makes everything a lot more visible. Are those lighting kits, or where did you get that from?
So I used Light My Bricks for those. A couple of the top ones I used alternative ones, but like the flashing one on the TIE Fighter and the ones down here are Light My Bricks. And I just used the Technic piece with the hole in the middle, and I put a stud on there and then the lighting through there. My cat did chew through the wire, so shout out to my dad for soldering that. Yeah, I guess my cat wasn't too much of a fan of the Lego. But yeah, so luckily those were able to get fixed, and during Lights Out here at Brick Fair, I think it really came together.
So this is a fantastic creation here. Do you have more builds planned for the future, either Star Wars or otherwise?
Oh yeah, I have a lot more things I want to be doing down in the future. Like I said, this is going to be no more Bogano, destroying this after here, and I'm going to start a new project. A lot of the parts I had to buy for this can be used for other projects like the sand green and the tan, and even these gray slopes. So you will be seeing more builds of me in the future at Brick Fair, Virginia. So looking forward for more interviews from you guys.
Great. Keep up the good work. Can't wait to see it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for interviewing me.